It's funny because Michael taught us to have our own microphones. So far I don't have my own microphone.
Do you need anything up here?
No, I don't. Actually, I came not knowing that he would have this cool thing, and that's why you got the little Post-it notes, giant Post-it notes. But I'm happy it's you guys. Having been involved in this book has been life-changing for me business-wise and life-wise because I agree with it so much, you know. And those of you that have spent the last, 6 weeks with me, you probably know that now. It's when I first heard Michael speak, there were 400 people there. And I was almost like the book because I was like, wow, I've never been feeling like this before. And skeptical too, right? But I never felt like that. And all of a sudden my friends that were sitting at the table with me looked at me and they said, he sounds like you. And so we had a lot of commonalities, the way we feel like about doing business. So if you haven't read this, I'm going to tell you a little bit about it. But there's a lot. And it took us long hours, right? Trying and going over it. But today I'm going to just give you a little bit about it because you can't do in a short amount of time justice. You know, it just can't be. I believe that because we're all in the same group, we have a common interest of growing this company. You know, I love this because I was telling somebody, I think it was you, Wendy, that I used to be with Keller Williams. And when I went with Keller Williams years ago, people said, Keller who? When I would go to a listing appointment. And I said, you're going to know the name. And that's the way I want Future Home to be. You know, as I want it to be not somebody say Future Home, I want them to go, oh yeah, I know you. So that's why I'm so excited about here being with you, because the book club, the first one that we did, was, and people don't understand that, that's another thing I should probably briefly go into, but the book club basically was not just one brokerage. So we had lenders, we had it at the closing agent, you know, so we had it at a closing agent and used their conference room, and we had different brokerages there. And it was kind of cool because then you get to hear different ideas, what different people think, and we had 2 lenders that were part of it. So it's not a traditional book club, it's a way to do business. It's how to do business. But, you know, have any of you ever did a farm area or started a farm area and thought, how can I be the one that they choose? And I call it the chosen one. How can I be the chosen one? And instead of like the one, you know, I'm so unknown. You know, how do I get out? Anybody ever felt like that? Raise your hands. Those of you that didn't, you're going to know in a few minutes, so you will raise your hand next time. There's ways to do it. And I feel like the way that Michael teaches is the best way to do it. And the easiest thing that I could teach you today that you could start immediately without spending a lot of money is, and believe me, a lot of money, you're spending it anyway. I mean, I see y'all are out there buying leads from people you don't know, you know, then you're trying to deal with them. Some of you are paying referral fees to those companies or just paying a monthly amount of money to deal with strangers, you know, and you might want to consider, I already have the people. They already know me. They trust me, right? You might want to consider that and spend your resources on dealing with not strangers. Be dealing with them. It's funny, I'll give Brian Buffini a little bit of credit because Brian Buffini's awesome too. And if y'all don't know him, that's another person to know a little bit about. But Brian Buffini sold his first $1 million gross net income, not $1 million club like people put on their cards. Not I'm in the $1 million club. Gross commission earned, right? His first $1 million with 150 people in his database. Now, how many people tell you you got 1,000? You got, you know what he says? Because I treated them better, I knew them better than anybody else. Wow, that's pretty simple. You know, so what we could do is do that on our level. So if you have, and Michael uses 150. So if you had 150 people in your database, be better with them than anybody else. And then you're not going and paying Zillow or whatever those other companies are to say, hey, can I have a chance of working with a stranger and maybe not making any money, but actually work with people that know you and trust you already It feels better too, and basically then they tell people. And I don't really believe that works that same way with Zillow. So you might get some, but I think you're supporting, I'll call it supporting the enemy. So I think you're supporting who you don't want to support. But power notes is what I really want to talk about. And I don't want to spend up too much time telling you general things, because I got to tell you some other things. Can I move this little thing? You think this will miss them? Yeah. I want y'all to be able to see. I didn't know I was going to have this little projector thing here, this LCD or whatever it's called.
Set it on there? Is that what
Yeah, so they can see it better. I'm going to tell you 7 steps to a power note, and I'm going to tell you why. And anybody that read the book already, you probably still don't do them. And here's why, what I want y'all to know. It's more powerful than you believe. And I'm going to have somebody talk in a minute, briefly, to tell you they already did it and after our little meeting. But power. So personalized, optimistic, written, effective, relational. There's a reason they call them power notes. They're not thank you cards. They're not a note. They're not, I write my customers' notes. They're not. There's certain things that have to happen for them to be effective. By the way, if you do any of them, good. It's better than none, But can you be better? And can you be effective? And I mean, that's my whole goal, is making you effective so the work that you're doing, you're getting rewarded for. So you don't want to be just doing work. You want to be rewarded for the work. So I'll basically tell you what these things mean. Okay, so the word, when you personalize, you want to write the card, keeping, and by the way, my daughter told me as soon as she saw this, because she's pretty high IQ, she goes, we learned that in high school. It's probably true, but do you do it? And that is, stop saying I, me, my. Stop talking about yourself. This isn't about you. Y'all are probably sick of hearing me say that, right? Because I say it all the time, is this is not about you. It isn't. It's about them. It's about the people that you want to engage with, people that want to trust you, love you. I mean, my customers actually tell me, I have a listing right now for $1.875 million. And they called me. Actually, I called them and then they called me back about Pi Day. And she ends with, we love you. I haven't sold her $1.875 million house. That's relationship. That's the level you're trying to get to. So, and somebody's trying to go behind me and get my listing. And you know what they told me? Sharon, you're never losing this listing unless you say, I don't want to do it. We think of you as family. Wow, is that powerful in the way things are in the business today? I mean, it's powerful. So spend your time wisely. So when you're talking in your power notes, talk about them, right? You, not me, my, unless the we. You can say we if it's including them, like we, you and I. But don't use even we. And I'm going to show y'all some of mine, and I'll show you what I did that was so effective, and I made a lot of mistakes. Michael saw it. He actually tweaked it. It was okay with it. He actually said it's one of the best power notes he's ever seen. And it still had some mistakes going by that list. It still had some mistakes in it, but it worked. Be optimistic. So the power of positive projection. Don't you want to be smiling and happy and talk about good things instead of doom and gloom? So who do people want to deal with, right? People want to deal with people that are optimistic. So whatever is happening in the market, be the optimistic one. Whatever's happening in the neighborhood, be the optimistic one. Tiffany, you do a great job at that. I've seen a lot of your Facebook posts. So be optimistic. Written, and I wrote in blue. That's kind of weird looking blue, but write in blue. And all my pens that I order to give my customers are in blue. And I started years ago because contracts, we want to know the original one, so we wrote in blue. Well, now it's kind of the same thing. Is Michael wants you to write in blue, and there's a reason. Because you're not a computer, this is personal. He uses make it personal as you can. You don't receive your birthday card from your mother on any kind of business typed out card, right?
Or
with your business card.
Hello, and then in parentheses, enter first name.
Yeah, exactly. So you write in blue and slant up a little bit, is what this is saying. And I'll go over these little Post-it notes in a second.
And Sharon, to kind of go along with that too, I know of an agent that she'll handwrite. Actually, I've seen examples of hers. She'll handwrite it on a full sheet of paper, but then she goes and
Copies it. It's not the same
And
thing.
it's not the same thing. I'm like, that's
So-
the point. Like, you had a good idea to handwrite something, but now you're photocopying it.
So you handwrite it, and I'll tell you my story in just a second, but you handwrite it, "Hi, Tiffany." Well, I can't go copy that, right? You know, so if I'm talking about Tiffany, I can't be talking about Wendy at the same time, you know, so they're personal. Keep that in your mind. And Billy, they know. They know. How many, do any of y'all own any property? I get these constantly. Do any of y'all own any property where you're constantly getting, "I'll buy your house"?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yes.
Yellow
And
cards.
yellow cards, and
Yeah.
they look like they don't look like they're handwritten. They try to act like they're handwritten. Well, they just go straight into my trash can.
Yeah.
I don't want you to go straight in the trash can. That's a really big deal. Oh, by the way, blue ink, handwritten, is also the return address and the outgoing address. Not type, not labels. Don't be lazy. Do it this way. Power of a PS. So the PS is a call to action. So I use, and I'm going to pass that around. I'm not passing around now, so y'all pay attention. But I'm going to pass it around and let you see. But the post-it, the little note sticks, post-it notes, whatever you want to call them, the little ones, I use those because the power of the PS is a call to action. Call me, text me, email me. And I don't even say, I think in our book club I changed somebody's because they were so sweet.
Mine.
Yeah, don't be so nice. A call to action is not a request. If you make it a request and they go, "Oh, I can do it or not do it." So the call to action is call me. Not if you want to, call me. Or please call me if you
I'd love
can't.
for you to
Yeah, exactly. So you want to say, call me, text me. And then you can say whatever. But the call to action has to be clear after the PS, okay? And I'm going to show you, I'm giving you an overview so you can kind of understand what you're looking at next.
And you're allowed to use me in the call to action.
Yes, yeah, you
Right,
can.
perfect.
Call me. You can. Actually, and I try, and you'll see, but I try to skip it. Sometimes it'll go, well, that's kind of like a broken up sentence. It's to skip I or me, is why.
Right.
Call, text, or email. And sometimes cell phone. I mean, like all of a sudden it'll just say cell phone, email, you know.
Right.
But so yeah, just try to make it not about you, you know. So relational. Okay, so this is where we say don't use, and I put a D first. So unbranded cards. And people say, "Oh yeah, but I already have those. I bought them specially." And they promote my whatever your thing is, you know. Okay, promote your personal part. So like Michael used to use a lighthouse, you know, because a lighthouse guides you home, right? So he used a lighthouse. Somebody that was in the book club, what were they using? Well, I told Dixie, I said, you need to use Whistle Dixie because she used Whistle Dixie, put a whistle on there or something.
Yeah.
You know, make it
Michael
personal.
calls it unbranded branding.
Yeah,
Right?
you make
So
it
it's
about,
not your company name.
Not your
It says
company.
Real estate, real estate, real estate, real estate.
because
right?
this is what they're going to do. They're going to do the
Right.
same thing I do with the stuff in the trash as they open the card. So the card is personal. Keep that in your mind. So you do unbranded cards to make a personal connection. You're not making a personal connection if they open it up and they see a real estate company, they're going, "Oh, they fooled me." That's all they're going to think at that point. You fooled me. And then people don't like you even more if you fool them, you know, so don't fool them.
And also too with the unbranded cards, the colored envelopes. So it's just
Yeah, and I'm going to show you because what I really believe is that I did mine in, I don't even know if that's in the book. I did it because Michael makes a big point of the mail cut. So you go through your mail, and does anybody, from they go to the mail, as they're walking in, already be separating
Yes.
trash? Okay. You got to get past that. You know, so if you handwrite and use a colored envelope, there's a real chance that that's an invitation, a birthday card, an anniversary card. Nobody's going to throw you away at that point. So you're going to make the mail cut by the handwritten with the colored envelope, right? Then you still have to do these things that we're talking about here, because if they open it up and you trick them, you're not going to trick them if you're sincere. These things are easy to do. They actually feel good when you do them. Michael says the biggest words, the most trusted, most important are love and trust. I loved that when he said that. So I wrote it down right when he said it. That's why I have quotes around that. He said, use it in your business because that's how powerful love and trust are. And I just gave you an example of how powerful it is, at what level that everybody wants that listing, right? So use love and trust. But what I'll do is I'll go over this quickly, then I'm going to pass this stuff out. So we already talked about this, use unbranded cards. And I'm going to show you a couple of things. I made this to pass around at our book club. I used these, and I'm going to still let y'all see these close, but I used these because what do they look? Personal, right? Vistaprint, not cost a lot of money, Vistaprint. All right, and then I'll let you see what I wrote. The power of a PS, and then I use bright green envelopes. I have bright green, I have bright orange. I did on purpose. I want to stand out in their mail. I don't want to be, I missed that one, handwritten on both of those. And then I also showed you some other things that I think would be appropriate for you to do to stay in touch. So now you've made this connection. After you make the connection. This one is, they're blank inside, by the way. This one says Home Sweet Home. So these could be anniversary, for the list, for the follow-up from the sale, where you closed. This can be a closing card. Congratulations. This could be also your birthday, your whatever you want it to be. It can be their anniversary, but keep in touch. What I wanted to do is kind of like, when it says home, it's still not saying I'm a real estate agent trying to sell you something. So you can still use things that will kind of be subliminal messages for them, but don't be selling. Here's an anniversary, first year anniversary card. So I'll pass these around, but the most powerful one that I use, and I'll tell you this and then I'll pass this around. When I actually was fortunate enough to have some private coaching with Michael Mayer, one-on-one, and most people are doing, if they do coaching, they're doing group conference calls, group calls. So I was actually lucky, and he asked me what I wanted to do. And that's why I go back to, I'm farming, I'm working, and I know people say farming is going to take 5 years to really impact the neighborhood, but how do I make it? How do I go from, I want to be the one. He said, the chosen one? I said, yeah, I want to be the chosen one. And he goes, okay, let's do a power note. So we did. And the power note that I've got in here, I wrote it, and then he said, he took out a couple of words, and he sent it back to me, and he said, that's the best one I've seen. And I was like, wow. I said, well, you wrote it? He said, no, I changed a couple words. He said, you wrote it. And he said, now I want you to send it to your farm area. My farm area is 286 houses. He said, I'll give you a month. Well, the overachiever that I am, I did them in 2 weeks. And it was constant writing, because you are writing constant. I mean, it's constant. Like, so whenever you're sitting down thinking, I'm going to watch this show, no, you're writing. Return envelopes, you're writing. Because I was anxious. And so the only mistake as far as that is maybe don't do it as fast as I did, because I actually ended up going to a hand doctor after that, because I actually messed up my thumb by writing so many cards so fast. The other side of that is I am the chosen one in that neighborhood now. And it started pretty quick. People started calling me, because what the card says basically, and again, you're going to see it in a second, is I live in the neighborhood, I care about your values, I care about the streets, I care about the people that live in the neighborhood, and I'm here to help. See, it had some eyes on there. But what were you also doing? So you were not offering to sell real estate. You were offering to provide information about restaurants, schools, any questions you have regarding real estate. I'm a real estate professional, I've done this long, but you don't sell anything. You offer to help them. The phone started ringing. The phone started ringing. I started getting emails, and I started getting phone calls. Some of them were complaining about past real estate transactions and just asking for advice. What would you do? Right? Now I don't even want this house anymore. I'm going to end up selling it, which I ended up listing for $470,000. Well, I sold it for $470,000. There's one direct impact that I can give you dollars amounts. But here's what happened. I get listings now as a regular thing, and I don't have competition. When they call me, it's not like I'm one of. It's they call me because what? They trust me, they know me, and they call me because they know I care. and I have helped them, and I will help them. I'll help them if they're not selling anything, because who are they going to tell? They're going to tell everybody. That's who they're going to tell. So basically what ended up happening is my last listing I just had in there, it really kind of was an impact for me, and I'm getting ready to get another one in now from the same things. And it's basically, they said, how did you get to be the neighborhood expert? That's what they called me. I couldn't even believe it. And I was writing their listing as they're saying that, and I was like, had to pause. I kept looking down for a minute thinking, and I said, I don't know. I think because people know that I care, and I didn't want to say, because I sent you all power notes, I didn't want to say what really happened, but what really happened was that. You can use this, by the way, in any business. It does not have to be just real estate. And I would suggest anybody that owns their business, and Dixie, that she's also a real estate agent, but she also sells makeup. I said, Dixie, you need to use this in both of your businesses, because how does it feel? So Tiffany, tell them how it feels.
Well, number one, Sharon and I haven't known each other for very long, but we met at one of these past meetings whenever we were both here, and I started talking to Sharon after the meeting was over and was just so blown away by her. So from the moment that I met her, I was like, oh, she's got just a wealth of information. And I had spoken at one of the last meetings, and something that Sharon had said to me that day was, have you read Michael Mayer's 7 Levels of Communication? And I said, no, I haven't. I keep hearing about it, but I haven't slowed down enough to read it. And so she said, well, Tiffany, you're doing a lot of what's already in that book. And I think that if you were to read it and really get these systems, it could make a huge impact. So before I even left this parking lot, I went and purchased the book, the audio book, and started listening to it before I even pulled out of the parking lot. So I did Sharon's book club. I had already listened to the book. Highly, highly, highly recommend for you to join and do this book club, because even though I had already read the book or listened to it, going through it in detail, you can kind of glaze over things and hear them a couple times, but going over it in detail, seeing it lined out like this, made a huge impact. So I had never done a power note, even though I'd heard about them in the book already. So we start the book club, and I sat down, and there's a neighborhood, my neighborhood that I live in, that I like to think that I'm the neighborhood expert, but I said, what am I really doing to reach these people? What am I really doing to,
help.
But I've always said, I want my past clients or potential clients to reach out to me if they need anything home related. I don't care if it's a painter recommendation, they don't have to be thinking of selling their house. I want them to think of me. Doing these power notes, and I took a picture of Sharon's note that's in her book, and basically then I typed up exactly what I wanted to say, had it in front of me, and started pounding out my power notes. And they have already been amazing. And then I now take it as far as I'll drive through my same neighborhood and go through, and this is one that you corrected me about. I'll go through and make notes about whether it's really, they had cute Halloween decorations. So I write them another note and say, just wanted to let you know that I, either your yard's looking great or whatever it is. And one of the PSs that I had written was something like, man, your yard looks really amazing. If you could share who your, lawn service is. And Sharon's like, no, you don't want to say.
Call to action.
Yes, you need to have, an immediate call to action. But I've had really, really awesome feedback already from Power Notes. So this is just a small snippet.
And she just started. That's so fast, and mine was so fast. But mine is like.
Well, it's so different from what everyone else is doing.
I get 3 listings, and then I'll sell those, and then I'll get, and of course, they're talking too, and she really is nice. I'm exactly, y'all know, I don't change any. I'm exactly the same.
You use y'all, you're nice.
Yeah. The people that have just spent all these weeks with me, they know it's the same. I stay the same. So people that deal with me in business, they know you're not acting. They know that you do care.
And I think for trying, and I truly do care, but if someone doesn't know me, they're not going to know
How am I
that.
going to get
So I think really letting people get to know you, really sharing who you are, and that you truly want to help them. It's not about me. It's not about me growing my business.
See, I love you saying that.
It's not about that. It's about what can I do to help them, and that has been the biggest. I already felt like that, but portraying it to them has been the critical.
Even before I met Michael, was training, and I won't even use the name since we're videoed here, a company, and I had 25 agents at a time that I was mentoring. And that's what they were calling it, was mentoring. Being paid, but basically mentoring them. And I had to tell them all the time, that's before I met Michael, it's not about you. If you could just get that through to people, this is not about you. That's why we like gelled so quickly when I did meet him and I did start learning how much I love it. And I mean, I know that this seems like little to you guys. It isn't little. It's little cost. And it will take your time. But guess what? I believe, and this is one of the things that I also go over, is if you make this a plan, and it's part of your plan, that you're going to have this amount of time to do this. So it's not like optional. So if you do that, I believe the rewards will come. Have you started yours yet, Patty?
I've kind of just, put it together and I ordered my note cards, personalized. So I'm getting ready to launch it.
Yeah.
I've been using them just even, my sister had a friend that I've met a few times, but it's not like I know her, or I would say, oh, she's my friend. She just, happened to be my
But
sister's
power
friend.
notes are too.
Well, so she called my sister and asked for my number and referred someone to me, but they didn't happen to see a property until just last week. And so they called me and they said, hey, we got your number from Debbie. And so now I wrote a power note to Debbie, thanking her for referring them, and put a little call to action, call me, let's get together for lunch, and we don't have to, wait, blah, blah, blah. So I just took it a step further, because normally, maybe I would have just let that go. I wouldn't have reached out to Debbie, but she referred me, and that was great.
Yeah, I think that you'd be surprised how quickly, if you're sincere and if you do the steps to a power note, I believe you'll see the results quickly. One of the things that I asked them to do in the book club was that wherever we met, I wanted you to send a power note to that person that allowed us to meet there. How often do you think they get those from realtors? None? Zero? So, I mean, they might say thanks as they're walking out the door with a commission check, but how often do they thank them that they actually facilitated this for them? So it's in business, you do the same thing. It's not just to your farm area. I had it successful in my farm area, and I will pass this around because I know that y'all gonna end up, if y'all leave before y'all see this, y'all gonna be mad. But I think that's one thing. The other thing is, I wrote up here, and I wanna make sure that I covered these things first. We got that, blue ink. We got this, me, my, and be specific in your praise. So, like when, Tiffany, you did a good job of, like you just said, you saw somebody's yard, so you praised them about their yard. That's a good example of being specific in your praise. I said I loved the neighborhood, right? So we had a commonality. They're going to read it. And by the way, everything I wrote was sincere on that. So there's the power of positive projection. You identify something in them that you admire. You admired their yard, so you're still using power positive projection, and write rightly. And then there's the power of the PS. And then next thing I had up there was do events, and Pi Day is coming up. So if y'all haven't done a Pi Day, I have done them, but I've always delivered pies. And Michael said, you do not deliver pies. You have an event, and they come to pick up the pies. Now, what do y'all think that would be the reason for that? Anybody know? Why would I want them to come pick them up versus... Yeah, they see you, and what else? They see other people.
Yeah.
So an event is, I'm not the only one using you, Wendy. Who are all these people?
Yeah.
So now, again, commonality. So they're saying, well, they must like Wendy too, so.
Third party validate all day long.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, let me tell you the story. Oh yeah, I love her, and here's what Sharon. Oh yeah, Sharon did this. So now it's not you singing your praises, it's two other people singing your praises. You just step back and say, sing away.
Yeah. So basically what you've ended up getting is you ended up getting not just a pie. And it's funny because what I was telling them is the most busy people are excited about me giving them a pie. The people that I didn't expect, attorneys and things like that, they're excited. And I'm thinking, and by the way, my biggest listing, the one I was just talking about, I'm giving them 2. I admit I broke the book on that one, but
One
they
pie per million.
they basically they said, who does this, right? Who does this? So
Do you make the pies?
I do not make them, and by the way, I like to cook. But right before Thanksgiving, I probably won't be making 20, 25 pies.
Right.
You know, so try to make it an event. When you can do it, Michael says do 4 events a year, you know, to make sure you're out there that way and you can still support that way. But do an event instead of passing them out, because I passed them out last year and I already got more bang for the buck already on them coming, because they're all excited about coming. And guess what they're saying? I can't wait to see you. That's what they're saying. Yes.
Okay, so this might be a stupid question, but do you have an RSVP on that, or do you just kind of leave it open-ended?
For
The event?
Yeah, the RSVP, they are all telling me, here's the question, in the email that I'm sending them, is it says, do you want apple, pecan, or pumpkin?
Okay.
And can you pick it up this day at this time? And at first all I told them was Altamont Springs. That's all I told them. I didn't tell them any location, because I only want to give the location to the people that RSVP. Why would that be? Because I need to have enough pies for the people that are coming. So I will give them the location when they RSVP and say, this is what I want. But they're so excited. And by the way, y'all are passing around fast. If I were you and you're not doing power notes, you should probably take a photo of the writing part, you know? Because if he helped me write it, how much better can you be than him? I mean, this is what he does. So you don't, and I'm not saying use it. Use it as a guideline. I mean, I don't care if you use it, it works. You can use it. But because you're not going to be farming in the same area, you're not going to be in the same spot than I am, you're going to have your own location. But use it because it will help you, even if you said, I don't know how to write it, I'm going to start from this and then take another piece of paper and start figuring out what you want to say.
And I don't mind sharing too. I mean, I took what Sharon did and just tweaked it a little bit for me, and I have a picture of mine too. So I mean, I don't mind, you know,
It helps.
You always say there's enough.
There's enough business for everybody.
all of us, so,
I mean, I always
I'm
say
all about
that.
helping.
I always say that, and I truly believe that there's enough business for everybody. We don't need to step on each other. We don't need to put anybody down. We can lift each other up and help each other. So that's what I'm about. So if you want to take a photo of that, and I suggest that you do, so that way you've got like a starting spot. Because if you don't start, you're not going to get the results. I mean, you got to start. I mean, you can put yourself a goal. Like my goal you saw was a little bit too tight. But if you have anybody farm a neighborhood, how many do you have in your neighborhood?
Right now, 100. I think I'm going to expand. I'm in Sweetwater Club, so I think I'm going to go into some of Sweetwater. I'm
So,
thinking like 250 I'll do.
so then what you do is you do it into a manageable thing, but don't give yourself like way too much time. You know, push yourself a little bit. Just don't be crazy like me. What about you? What's yours?
I have University States in Orlando, and we've been kind of splitting. There's different.
What?
University States.
University? Okay.
It's near UCF.
Uh-huh.
And Patty's Health also in that area. And I've had 2 listings there. I sold one. And so that's why I kind of been familiar with the area for quite a few months now. And I'm trying to do like once a month, you know, doing flyers in that area and just giving a real estate update of what's been selling, pending, and
So you can do supplemental material like that, but don't forget the personal part.
yeah.
So the personal part, if you just do the supplemental things, you're like 1 of 14,000.
Right, and I kind of feel that way, that it's not, you know, it's not happening, you know, and so I'm listening to what you're saying.
Yeah.
It makes more sense.
It's, I mean, I don't know how to tell you other than that I'd let you hear from other people besides me, but I did not expect how quickly it started working. And the interesting thing is that was 2015, and it's just still going, you know, but you have to make sure you're doing it.
Yeah.
So I do it for relatives. Just think about people you can do it. I'm not asking them for anything. I'm saying, what are your goals? How can I help you? Michael tells me that. I didn't come up with that, you know. So that's part of this book. So think about that kind of stuff. Is like, are there people out there I can help? I mean, I even thought as far as, and I know this sounds silly, but it's really true, that when I asked the closing agent, can I pass out my pies on this day at this time in one of your closing rooms? I always thought, what's in it for them? But you know what's in it for them? The exposure, you know? And guess what? A lot of these people close there. So the last thing I want to do, I saw Bob looking at his watch. The last thing I want to do is, for any of you that are here. I printed out this, that I actually gave this out in my book club. Y'all can take that. So if you don't have the book, you can have the 7 Steps to a Power Note. Try to do it the right way. I'll also let you see these. I do want these back. I'm putting these on the pies. So whenever I get the pies, this one says Happy Thanksgiving to you and your family. I thought it was a little bit dark. So I did one that says Happy Thanksgiving to you and your family, a little bit lighter. Those are labels. And then I also have, this says Truly Thankful. And it says Sharon Hyres Future Home Realty. And I'm the smallest thing. I even asked my daughter, can you see my name? Because it's little. But so look at those things. Think about this kind of stuff because it's such a little. I print it myself. I'll just go buy it and print it myself. So that way you can print exact number you need. Bob said it was okay to tell you guys that
book club, yeah.
this is the book, the binder that I passed out last time. And the reason I put it in a binder, because believe me, this is a lot of work for me. The reason I put it in a binder, and even the people who were there said, you do so much work on that, maybe do a little bit less work, but just put the important stuff in there, but put it in there themselves. Give them the paper and here, put it in yourself. It's because I want you to do it. You know, that the idea of, I was going to do this today, and the phone rings, and then you got to go look for whatever it was you're going to do. It's in one binder. So if I was going to do a power note, it's in here. If I'm going to do a triangle of trust, which is like Bob was alluding to a while ago, where somebody else is saying you're good, and they're telling somebody else. If I'm going to do those kind of things, if I'm going to do 10 phone calls in the morning, it has to be kind of like this easy. You know, that I've just grabbed this. So that's the reason I did the binder. Initially, my next book club was going to be in January. And then one of the people in the book club was like, no, I have like 7 people in my office that want to do it now. So I haven't decided yet because wanting to do it and then paying for it are 2 different things, and I have to get it on my schedule. So it's either going to start next Thursday, the 15th, or it's going to start in January. And the reason why is because I have to put it on my schedule. And people that are saying, I want to do it, but I'll pay you later, I've got to get it on a schedule, and I have to have it where I'm going to be, it's just like I'm telling you to put it on your schedule, I have to put it on my schedule. And I always tell people, and this was another company, but I remember they said one thing that I really admired, and I remember this from years ago, and try to remember this. Have a schedule, and put it in ink, what's on your schedule. It's not erasable, you know, so if I'm supposed to be calling 10 of my past clients this morning at 9 o'clock, it's in ink. I'm supposed to be doing that. It's not like, oh, I don't even have their names pulled out yet. No, you're calling your house. If you're going to go and make this many door-to-door, like you said, you're going to go see a certain number of people, go see them. You know, do that, but put it on your schedule in ink, because when people call me, by the way, and I have something on my schedule in ink, and I say, they say, guess what they say? Do you have time? Are you available? And I don't jump through hoops. I say, let me check my schedule, and then I tell them I'm available. And you know what they think from that? You're successful. They don't expect you to be the Maytag man waiting for the phone to ring. They want to deal with people that are successful. They like that you have a schedule. And if your schedule, I don't care if your schedule is having lunch with your husband or your best friend. I don't care. Your schedule is in ink. And then you go back and you work around your schedule and you plug them all in. So try to do that, because I thought that was a great thing that's not erasable. You don't erase it. Just say, I got a listing appointment, I got to go right now, because they don't admire that. They think you're desperate. You know, so do that. Let me know if any of you are interested in the book club. I can send you the information, and you can let me know. But you have to let me know quickly, unless we decide to wait until January. Okay.
I think Thursday after the closing agent, like if we could.
What time is that?
That is 10 to 11:30, right?
So I'd have to change that first day. But
Yeah.
other than that, if
we
you.
could meet there afterwards.
Yeah.
That's true. So just let me know on that, and then I'll be happy to answer any questions you guys have, okay?
Hey, we're going to take a quick break, but first of all, give Sharon a hand. Thank you. That, I mean, if you guys have been to 100K, this is exactly what we discussed, right? And she's taken it to the nth level by digging into this book very deep, right, and getting that done. And you understand that's why we call 100K the unbold for our KW people, right? Right? This is the anti-bold. right? We are not, there's nothing bold about doing that, but it is bold, right? But it's anti-bold because we're not saying, okay, today's chiropractor day, smile and dial, here we go, all right? Call chiropractors you don't know, all right? And convince them that you're the one.
Exactly.
Okay, how about just go spread the love, right? And use y'all. All right, okay, you put y'all in your power notes and you're good to go. All right. So hey, so let's take our speakers for the FERP day are here. So let's take a break right now.